And here in this game, you are the alien. You are the one who is invading the planet. Hey everyone, it's me. It's Void. So I'm pretty much back. I'm here to talk about a new game today. Well, it's not really a new game. It's actually a remake of a game that I wanted to play when I was younger, but I never got a chance to play it. And that is Destroy All Humans 2. Now, as I said, I wanted to play this as a remake of a game and I wanted to play it all those years ago, but I never really got a chance to play it then. But I did watch videos on it. I did read up like game FAQs. You remember those, stuff like that. And so for me, this is a surprisingly very close to my heart kind of game because I wanted to play it and I never got a chance to play it. And then I, I got to play it with the remake of it. I saw the game and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know they was remaking this. So as somebody who wanted to play the game but never like really got into the game like all those years ago, for various reasons, I couldn't really get a copy. The computer wasn't strong enough. I had a very weak setup. This was like years ago. But I did enjoy the aesthetic. I did enjoy, like what the game's about. Usually we just have all these, you playing as humans defending yourself against aliens or invading somebody else's planet. And here in this game, you are the alien. You are the one who is invading the planet. You're the one, doing all of this thing. And it's set in like the 1950s and 1960s. Or was it the 60s and 70s? It's very much related to the whole Red Panic back in the day for America, where it was like, the Russians, the communists coming to destroy America, etc., etc. And it was conflated with aliens and all of these spaceships and whatnot. The game leans really heavily on those things. It did back then and it does back now. And for me, I find like the aesthetic of it, like I know I talk about aesthetic a lot throughout these videos, but I really do enjoy like, I don't know, for some of you or me not have grown up on like Jimmy Neutron, or if you have grown up on like Jimmy Neutron, the 3D animated version, like you saw that aesthetic, right? That was clearly inspired by the 50s and 60s. And, so there's some level of nostalgia there for me, but I actually do really enjoy it. I wouldn't actually go back to like experience that, like I'm not stupid, but to me, it is a fun aesthetic. And, I felt like Destroy All Humans really did push the limits of what you could have done with an aesthetic like that back in the day. And, the game is a very meta kind of game. It's very self-referential. There's a lot of really fun jokes. It pokes fun at a lot of these US conspiracies. It like really plays into the panic of people. And you command spaceships that you get to like destroy buildings, and the building destruction mechanics is absolutely amazing. Like they will literally shatter and annihilate into multiple different pieces. You have the ability to like take control of people forms and then use that to influence decisions in the game. I think one of the things that could have really made this game amazing was being able to take control of absolutely anybody and just like mess with their life. But I understand that was kind of like, that's very more on like a life simulation-esque things. But I think that could have been a really interesting aspect of the game. But overall, it is a first-person shooter, well, a third-person shooter, and you have a variety of weapons at your disposal, and you have a variety of powers, and you can use those powers. As I said before, you have telekinesis, you have, you can move objects with your mind, you have like these giant bombs, you could infiltrate people's minds, you could suggest things to people, you have a giant ship that you could blow up things with. All of those are relegated to different kinds of, it's very much relegated to different missions. This game does follow a bit of a mission structure, a more arcadey mission structure that is too. And I felt like that it worked really well for this game. It was definitely like how games used to be, where you used to have like mission 1, mission 2, and you had like a little map that you used to progress through. We don't really do that anymore, but this game has it because it is a remake, and it did really well. I find like it did really well in portraying that old school aesthetic, but fully modern. And it is very much arcadey in nature. So you score points, you unlock like your score points, and you get like different stars, 1 to 3, I believe. and the more stars you unlock, and the more collectibles you collect in the levels, you get to unlock new powers, upgrade your suit. So there's always incentive to keep going back into the game and to keep going back into the levels and to explore the levels. And a lot of the NPCs will, they'll say random stuff. They will make comments about the 50s, the 60s. They'll make comments about conspiracy theories. And all of these things actually make the game feel really like well established and alive. Not fully alive, like I'd say other open world games are, but I think it is really fun to like run around in some of the more populated areas and just like to hear the people, what they're saying, what they're doing. You know, for me, I think that was a really fun aspect of the game that really helps break the monotony of just, oh, pew, 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 But it doesn't have much of that. So if you just want to go and do pew, 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 you can do that as well. To me, I had a lot of fun with this game. I realized that this game isn't going to be for everybody. I think the graphics look really good. It is a remake, but the graphics look pretty stunning, and I was able to run this game 60 frames per second. I had a ton of fun with it. I had to drop some graphical settings, but other than that, ton of fun. It didn't really have any large issues. I think there were a couple of bugs, but no game-breaking bugs. I think the game crashed once, but I think that was just mostly because of my computer. But other than that, it was a fun experience. I really like the writing. Again, as I said earlier in the video, the writing is very self-referential. It is very much tongue-in-cheek. The game doesn't take itself seriously. It is a very fun, genuinely entertaining storyline. It's not trying to be anything other than a fun, quirky kind of game that does touch on some more serious issues in a comedic manner, but it doesn't really take itself too seriously. And it does have a really nice story. Well, I mean, not nice. It does have a really fleshed out story that it feels good to go through the narrative. The narrative is always pushing you, always finding new things, discovering new people, learning of the relationships between Crypto, which is your playable character, the story of trying to conquer the Earth, destroy the planet, destroy all humans, hence the name. So this game is still on my to complete list, but I'm very far into the game, so that's why it kind of it is basically something like a first impressions, because I haven't completed the very end of the game. But there is Destroy All Humans 2 as well, which I heard was not as good, but I'll have to evaluate that myself personally. But overall, I think Destroy All Humans, for a remake, it was fantastic. I heard people talk about it. They were really impressed. They were really excited for it. I played the game for a couple dozen hours, I think. Maybe like, actually, I lied, not a couple dozen. Maybe like 18 or 20 hours. I had a ton of fun. I was like revisiting a lot of the levels to get some of the collectibles, to get the upgrades. Not immediately though, I'd like go reach as far as I could and then I'd come back. As I said, there's a lot of stuff to discover, and just like being in the world, the aesthetic and the way that the artists like really they did the job for it, right? They work for their money, basically, as we say. They work for their money. I felt like it was a really fun experience. I do wish that there was a little bit more human characters, so that we could just like mess with. I feel like that would be a really interesting thing. Maybe Destroy All Humans 2 has more of it. I don't know. But who knows? Maybe we could get Destroy All Humans 3. That'd be awesome. But anyways, that's my thoughts, my first impressions. Well, my 18 hours of impressions for Destroy All Humans. So yeah, that was my thoughts on Destroy All Humans. Like, as I say, I really enjoyed playing this game. It was a game that I wanted to personally play all those years ago, and I didn't get a chance to. So I was really happy to be able to play it finally. And I think they did an amazing job with the remake. I had a ton of fun with the remake. So yeah. And I am, speaking of which, if you all want me to do like a full review of this game, I'm down, just let me know in the comments if you want a full breakdown of this game, of the story. When I mean breakdown, like more of a, I guess, experience inside of it. I'm still trying to figure out how to write a little bit more longer form content. That's when you feel no, I am working on my what would eventually become now. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like 16 or 18 hours. My entire Yakuza retrospective kind of review, as well as I've completed the Spider-Man one, which will come in about 35 minutes, and I'm currently editing that down. That's taken a lot longer than I thought it would have taken. So, anyways, drop a comment with your favorite Alien emoji. Tell me what is your favorite Alien game, because I want to play more Alien games like this. So if you all know any Alien games like this, please drop it in comments. Let me know. If you'd like to help fund my nonsense, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Void0 Media. Please subscribe, like, comment, do all of the things that you usually do. And be sure I do other videos like this. So top right hand corner, I have a playlist. It probably is on the screen right now. I have more playlists like this where I talk about first impressions of games that I've played, demos that I've played, typically for about 6 to 7 hours before I make videos like these, or maybe just like a couple hours, depending on how long the game or the demos are. So please, the algorithm loves it when you will watch other ones. So please watch another one. Thank you all very much for your viewing, for your viewership. The Void called, and you all have answered. Thank you very much.